It is 6:42 right now. Today in Annapolis, there's a vote scheduled in the House of Delegates on a bill that would allow victims of child sexual abuse to sue their abusers regardless of how long ago the abuse happened. The sexual abuse of several girls decades ago at Archbishop Keough High School formed the basis of the Netflix docuseries The Keepers. For years, two of those women have been fighting the same battle separately. They sat down with me to talk about their fight to end the statute of limitations on claims of child sex abuse in this exclusive interview. When Teresa Lancaster and Jean Hargadon Wehner first sat down together, they started talking to each other.
Well, your case made me feel like I wasn't completely insane and imagining, for all those years.
It all came out. Years of being kept separate on purpose, so memories from one would not contaminate the memories of the other.
One thing can trigger me, and I can be 3 months in a spiral of, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
They didn't stop talking back and forth for almost 8 minutes.
That we're even functioning and sane.
Yeah,
is amazing.
I know. I often think of that, and how I'm even alive. I mean,
I kind of feel a little guilty about that. Tell you the truth.
Yeah. So he hasn't even asked us anything.
I know.
They did meet during a brief interview shown in The Keepers and at an event for the group Survivors Network of those abused by priests, but they've never really had a chance to talk to each other. You'd think they would have met back in the early 1990s when they both sued the Archdiocese of Baltimore, but their attorneys at the time made sure no meeting ever happened.
I didn't even know what Jean looked like.
Yeah, same here.
I knew nothing about her, and I would ask Beverly Wallace about it, and she said, you have to be sequestered from each other. I mean, you're not going to sit and talk because it'll give them more ammunition.
Right.
Like, what did you tell Jean about, Father Maskell doing this, and this? And then they'd say, we made up the stories.
Jean Hargadon Wehner was the first to come forward after she started remembering in 1992 what had happened to her at Archbishop Keough High School more than 20 years before that. Events documented in graphic detail in The Keepers. Years of horrific abuse by that school's counselor, Father Joseph Maskell.
I had begun remembering in 92 as if I had just left that school. And all I know is what I was remembering and living through it for the first time.
Her attorneys designated Jean Hargadon Wehner as Jane Doe. They wanted to prove her story, so they started looking for more victims. In the pre-Facebook days, that meant placing this ad in the Baltimore Sun, looking for Keough alumni who might have had memories of sexual impropriety. They also mailed the ad directly to graduates, including Teresa Lancaster. She called the lawyer's office from a phone booth.
I would not use my home phone because I figured they traced the number and somebody'd come and shoot me because I was scared to death.
Right.
I mean, it was very intimidating.
After telling the attorneys her story of abuse by Father Maskell, Lancaster joined the lawsuit as Jane Roe. Her story was also featured prominently in The Keepers. In 1995, they both testified before a judge in Baltimore City Circuit Court. Before one of them would enter any room in the courthouse, the other would have to leave. The plan was for Jane Roe's story and Jane Doe's story to corroborate each other in court in an attempt to prove the Archdiocese of Baltimore knew about the abuse and did nothing to stop it.
When this person was saying horrendous things in a whole different way by the same person that I had told them. So as much as they wanted to act as if there was nothing to corroborate it, they knew.
Yeah.
I was her witness and she was mine.
Still, in the end, the judge ruled that the statute of limitations for claims of sexual abuse had expired. The lawsuit was over.
Our case was credible. The church knew it was credible.
Right.
Keeler knew it was credible.
Right.
And they just made it go away.
They made it go away.
Now, Hargadon Wehner and Lancaster are speaking out in an attempt to end the statute of limitations for cases of child sex abuse in Maryland. Lancaster went to Annapolis last month to testify in favor of a bill that would do just that. Right now, survivors have until they are 38 years old to file a lawsuit.
They don't understand this crime if they believe that you can put a statute of limitations on it.
When they started speaking out, they thought no one would believe them.
I feel that she validated me. So she is like a second half.
Now, after the keepers, they hope that by working together, they might be able to stop what happened to them from happening to anyone else.
I feel very close to Jean, even though I haven't been with her hardly at all, because we share so much misery.
Right.
And I understand, and I can say I understand because I'm dealing with it too. And it's hard, and it does infiltrate every day of your life.
Right.
Every single day since I was 16, that man has had an effect. The name comes up, abuse comes up, but it's always in my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
So today in Annapolis, the so-called crossover day for the 2019 General Assembly session. To stand any reasonable chance of passing this year, a bill needs to get through either the Senate or the House of Delegates by today. That vote on House Bill 687, which would end the statute of limitations on child sex abuse, has been scheduled for today after it passed in a preliminary vote this past Saturday. Officially, the Archdiocese of Baltimore has not taken a position on that bill. Teresa Lancaster and Jean Hargadon Wehner are also once again calling on the Archdiocese to release any record it has on Father Joseph Maskell, who died back in 2001, and they're hoping the Maryland's Attorney General is performing a large-scale investigation into sexual abuse by priests like the one that came out in Pennsylvania last year. We have much more information on this story, and we're also going to add some of the longer sections of that interview with Jean Hargadon Wehner and Teresa Lancaster on the website right now, WMAR2news.com.